Juventus 0, Fiorentina 2. What a disaster of a team. What a disaster of a team. Mamma mia, what a disaster of a league. What a disaster of referees. Everything is a disaster. Everything is a disaster. Because what do you mean? We play at 12 a.m., 12 p.m. How do you... How? Why? Why? How? This is a disaster. And even the referee today, how you put and how you realize that Dusan Vlahovic is offside. And you go check VAR to remove us the goal. A disaster. A disaster. Absolute disaster. Come on. How? Like, how will you... How will you... I don't know how to... I don't know what to say. I'm super disappointed. And now, the Champions League is over. The Champions League is over. The Champions League is over, everybody. It's over. It's dead. Conference League or Europa League? It is now. Conference League or Europa League. And now, we are going back to square one. We are going back to square one. We are going back to square one. With no players. Everybody will leave and we will keep the lower end players. We will keep the lower end players. And now I tell you, Locatelli renewal, mechanic, everybody renewal. With this team, we are going to go nowhere. Because the mentality is bad. And I told you in yesterday's video, we go there with the mentality to win. And what did we do? We go with the mentality that we are scared. That we have nothing. That we have everything to lose. We go there with nothing to lose. Because now, versus Torino, we will lose again. We will lose again. And what a disaster. The only player today that deserves to wear the Juventus shirt is Conceição only. Imagine a team of 25 players and imagine one only player deserves to wear the Juventus shirt. Absolute disaster. Disaster. Juventus is a disaster. And now, no Champions League. Nothing. We have nothing. Nothing. Mamma mia. Juventus... Let's talk about the game a little bit now. Juventus went in the game. And the rest have nothing. They have nothing. They absolutely did nothing. They were playing bad. Everybody was playing bad. Disaster. Bremer, De Gregorio. Mamma mia. He is bad. Sorry. Super bad. Disaster. Mamma mia. That keeper is bad. First shot on target. And we concede. I am super angry. What do you mean? First shot on target. And by the way, everybody won. Roma, Napoli, Milan, Como, and the only team that lost is Juventus. Mamma mia. What a disaster. Of a players. Even Yildiz, he was not there. Vlahovic, he was bad. And now you want to renew him. Even Chiellini said, I want to renew Vlahovic. I hope this will not be his last match. I hope this will be the last match and he will never step on that pitch again. He will never see that ground again. Never. He doesn't even know how to control a ball. Everybody. A ball. Imagine you do this full time and nobody knows how to score in 97 minutes. You have 97 minutes today and you didn't even score one. What a disaster of a thing. And now we will go to Europa League. Nobody will come to Juventus. Now forget the Bernardo Silva. Forget the LSA. Forget everybody. And now Yildiz is going to be on the market. And let me tell you now, Real Madrid will pounce on it. And now it is going to be a difficult time. Forget competing for the Scudetto next season. Forget it. Right now, Juventus are in the Conference League position. The Conference League position. Conference League, ladies and gentlemen. Mamma mia, it was a disaster. A disaster. And then the second half begins. We start well or good. A 5 out of 10. We started maybe trying to score. And how you do it. Fiorentina does it bad pass and do some Vlahovic doesn't go and score it 1-1 versus the keeper. That distance away or even more. And you don't even score it. Come on. You do this full time. You earn millions of money. You are the highest earner of Serie A for now, before you leave. And you still miss that shot. Mamma mia. And now let's talk about the referees. The referees are a disaster. The referees will try to put Juventus out, and because Juventus now, they aren't in the top 4 because of their performances. But we need to remember as well. But because of the referees as well. We need to remember that as well. Not because of the players only. It is the major impact that of the performances, but also the referees and this area. A disaster. What a disaster. Let me tell you, when the first shot scored of the opponent versus De Gregorio, goal versus Fiorentina, goal versus Verona, goal versus Galatasaray, saved versus Inter, so the first shot is saved, goal versus Atalanta, goal versus Lazio, saved versus Parma, goal versus Lecce, saved versus Roma, goal versus Napoli, goal versus Fiorentina, goal versus Sporting, and saved versus Cremonese. So almost every single match when Di Gregorio was playing, Juventus conceded the first shot on target. And by the way, Fiorentina hasn't scored a goal in 3 matches, everybody. Hasn't scored a goal in 3 matches, and then they come versus Juventus. And they score 2. Ladies and gentlemen. They score 2. Mamma mia. What a disaster of a team. And even Spalletti, what did you plan today? What did you plan? Absolutely nothing. The players had no balls to go there with the attitude, with the urgency, with their mentality to get Champions League. Because we have better players, but this is lacking, and we have none of that. And next season we will still have none of that, because now the players that have this will not come to Juventus, and that is an absolute disgrace. Everybody was bad, from De Gregorio to Dusan Vlahovic and the players that came on. Maybe if the goal today counted and the referee didn't try to find that thing, and even Parma versus Como, they removed the goal, or I don't know, Genoa, some of the guys that impacted us, they removed the goal because they hate us. The Serie A hate us. Every referee hates us, and that is a disaster. The only thing that's positive as well, maybe the substitution, remove Cop. In the first place, what did you start Cop? I prefer to play with the Cafrinotoram, even though he's still shit. But anyways, everybody's shit. And now next season, we will get even shitter. Especially if we get Conference League, especially if Como, Roma, and Milan win the next games, which is very, very, very highly likely, because Cagliari they have, and some bad things, Verona, I think. But a disaster of a thing. What a disaster of a thing. Disastrous. Forget UCL. Forget everything and anything that you were dreaming of. Forget that Juventus are gonna go and compete for the Scudetto. Juventus will not even compete for the Champions League next season. I am telling you now. Or maybe they compete if we get some players. I don't know how, but nobody will. Nobody wants to come to Juventus now. Nobody wants to come to Juventus now. It is absolutely disgrace. Sixth, everybody. Sixth Conference League spot. Sixth Conference League spot. Conference League spot. Mamma mia. And you knew from when the fixtures came in that you were gonna face Fiorentina and Torino in the last games. And now you did nothing. You were scared. You were scared. You were very, very scared. You were scared. You didn't go with the attitude to win. To win. These players went there to win every single match, to win the Champions League, and they didn't care who is the team. They went there with that mentality. Look at these players. They didn't care who they play. They went there with no pressure, with that mentality, And Locatelli is not a captain. This guy is. This is why we need these players. Tell me, guys, what you think about this video. Make sure to like, subscribe. Let's get to 100 subscribers. Hit the video, share it to your community, and let's go. Peace.